Well, thank you everybody for being here on a beautiful October afternoon. I mean, there's a reason we live here, and if you just look around at the beauty that we have in this city, it really becomes very evident very quickly. And we're here today for a very special occasion, and we're here to do something today that I think is due. It's long overdue. We're here to dedicate a new tribute area at the Balloon Fiesta Park. And this area is a tribute to all balloonists, to the art of ballooning, and the Albuquerque community's commitment to the Balloon Fiesta. And we're also, it's also a tribute area to those who have really brought ballooning to the city of Albuquerque, many icons in our community, some with us, some not. And we're fortunate, I believe, to live in a time where we've become the ballooning capital of the world, and we still have many of the icons with us. And when, like as I said earlier, we've lost some good friends and we've lost some icons in the last several years. But I think this tribute area is really a great thing that we're doing, and a lot of people to thank, and I'm going to go through some thank yous in just a minute. The work that you see behind you today is the first phase to create a stronger connection between the Anderson Abruzzo International Balloon Museum and the Balloon Fiesta Park. Phase 1 that we're celebrating today included the importation of 24,500 cubic yards of dirt to fill that big giant hole that we've all been staring at for the last number of years. And so I think we ought to get a round of applause to get rid of the big crater. It included the grading, and as you can see, the grass is just starting to peek up through the topsoil. It's got a brand new irrigation system. Of course, the trees, some of them have been planted. The sidewalks and the boulders, many are in place at this point. And a plaque has been placed already in the memory of Richard Abruzzo and Dr. Carol Reimer Davis. You know, we talked about icons in ballooning, and Richard and I knew each other since the time we were at the university, and like I said, we've lost many icons, but not many days go by without me thinking without Richard, and I know that a lot of you think of Carol, and we think of Sid Cutter, and we think of Ron Clark, and we think of Sam Baxter. We just think of all the people that were really ground floor and that really brought Albuquerque to prominence here. So we also want to pay tribute to all these other great ballooning legends as well. As I said, Sid Cutter, Ron Clark, Sam Baxter. And we've got legends with us today, standing in the crowd with us. Later phases of this project will result in a future bridge connection to the museum to the launch field that's behind you, a tribute plaza with a water feature, and a tribute walk, city land art pieces, an amphitheater for approximately 450 people with a lawn area, balloon demonstration area, tribute tree groves, a sculpture garden, an entertainment plaza, and a children's play area with interactive pieces like the two musical pieces of play equipment that you saw as you came in. These pieces that we have with us today are on loan from Extra Play, one of the outstanding park equipment contractors that we have. These improvements certainly make the park more attractive to current users and will serve as a draw for potential users and create more activity in the park year-round. Betty Rivera is with us today. I saw Betty here somewhere. She's standing right over here. She's my Director of Cultural Services. I'm going to have Barbara Baca, who's my Parks and Rec Director, speak to you in a minute. But one of the first things we wanted to do with the administration was to make sure that this property got used more. And I don't have the exact numbers, but I know it's over doubled. So Betty and her crew and everybody involved with this particular museum have done a wonderful job of, we have the Folk Festival out here now, we have the Blues Festival, we have the Isaiah Conference out here. I think they went from, what was it, Betty, 100 and some days a year of usage to you're over 200 now? And we're going to work it so that this particular facility is being used as many days as we can throughout the year, because it's a great building, the architecture is fantastic, it's a great community asset, and frankly it brings revenues into the city. A lot of people to thank, but first we want to make sure that we thank the taxpayers and the people who've contributed to this. The funding for this project was provided by voters via the Parks and Recreation 2011 GEO Bond Program. So the taxpayers have put $500,000 into this project. $250,000 for this project came from the Sandia Peak Ski Company and the Sandia Peak Tram Company. Let's give them a hand for that. Thanks to everybody, Lewis. Thanks for everybody that's involved with that. $85,000 has come from the Cultural Services Department, and $128,000 has been put towards a project from the city and the state art programs. As we know, ballooning's in our blood in this community, and we're proud to be partners with the community and the entire ballooning family on this project. And we're sure that visitors and all residents alike will enjoy this new area for many, many years to come. And we can't wait to see it when it's all complete. I can just look out there now and see kind of a blank canvas. You know, it's beautiful with the grass and with the sidewalks, but I can just picture over the coming years all the wonderful things that will be here. I want to get to some thank yous, and the list is long, but I want to make sure I go through it. The citizens of Albuquerque, certainly, for continuing to support the Balloon Fiesta Park. This is a great asset. This puts us on the map internationally. Of course, the Anderson Abruzzo Albuquerque International Balloon Museum, all the staff, all the people that were founders in the ground floor, and all the boards of directors. The Abruzzo family, certainly, Louis, Stacy, Benny, Sandra, Nancy, everybody involved from this iconic family in the city of Albuquerque, the Andersons as well. John Davis, Barbara Baca, who's my Park and Recs director, who will speak in just a few minutes. Once again, Betty Rivera from our Cultural Services director. Sandy Zuschlag, I didn't see Sandy here. Is she here? Yes. Sandy, thank you. Oh, you're hiding behind Scott. Thank you so much. She's our project manager. And if you know anything about the Balloon Park, you know Sandy. Chris Green, our landscape architect. Johnny Casado, who's our construction manager. Sherry Brueggemann from the Public Arts group is here with us, I think, today. Marilee Nason from the Balloon Museum as well. Our contractors for this project were Lee Scott, who's the project manager, Jesus Chuy Treviso, who's the construction supervisor, Larry Seiss from Seiss Construction, and all the balloonists here in the local area and around the world. And a special thank you also to AMAFCA. This is probably the 10th or 12th news conference that we've had where the city of Albuquerque has been able to team with AMAFCA. And some people don't really understand how we can team. Well, I can tell you how we can team on this one. That 24,000, almost 25,000 cubic yards of dirt that you see behind you all came from AMAFCA. And so we want to thank Dan Lyons, who's with us here today, and Jerry Lovato, the chief engineer. So thank you, gentlemen, again for the partnerships. We appreciate you very much. I'm going to bring Louis Abruzzo up now to say a few words. Before I do that, I want to thank Councilor Brad Winter. Brad is here today. He's your counselor from this district. He's here. Also, thanks to Councilor O'Malley for her passion on the Balloon Park and the Balloon Museum as well. But before I leave, I want you to know that we're going to be handing these out. This is the tribute area little pamphlet. We've got several of these here with us today. We'll be handing these out into the community, and it talks about the future plans for the park, for the tribute area, so people will be able to see it and they'll be able to envision what's here. And it will talk a little bit about the history of the tribute area, but also it has a place on the back to donate. This is very much a public-private partnership. We've got significant dollars that have come from the Abruzzo family and from the Sandia Peak ski area that have come into this. But we want people to know that if you would like to contribute, whether it's through sculptures, through artwork, through benches, you name it, to make this tribute park even better, you can certainly do that. You can go onto the City of Albuquerque's website, and if you do that at cabq.gov, and you go to the Parks and Recreation Department area, you will find a link to this. If you can't find it, call 311. We'll make sure that you get there. And we just really appreciate everybody's support. This is really a great thing that we're doing here, and a lot of people are responsible. With that, I'm going to bring up Louis Abruzzo to say a few words, and then we'll have Barbara Baca give us a few comments as well. Louis, thank you so much, sir.
Could I first ask our family to come up? I saw Benjamin, we got Nancy and Rico and Mary Pat, my wife. Benny's out of town. Sandra's here. I saw Sandra.
Is she here?
And John Davis. I know you're here. There he is. Come on up.
Sandra's here somewhere.
There's Sandra.
No,
Sandra and Benjamin. Come on up. Well, welcome. Wow, that's all I can say. What a turnout. I thought this spring or early summer when we stood over there in the sun with the dirt hole behind us and did the ribbon cutting or the shovel, actually it was the shovel flinging, that boy, it would be a stretch to get all this done before Balloon Fiesta, and here we are, a couple days away. The grass is even popping up. As the mayor mentioned, our dedication point is just down the path here about 50 feet, and so here we are. I don't want to be overly redundant, but I do want to thank the city of Albuquerque, our Mayor Barry, Councilor Winter, and all the councilors for the appropriation, the public for supporting Balloon Fiesta and the museum and everything to do with ballooning. We'd like to thank you very much. Barbara Baca, Sandy Zuschlag were directly involved in this park and helped drive it forward to get it done. I want a special thanks to my wife, Stacy, for working with Chris Green to get the little dedication point down here, which is just down the path, timely done. That got placed a few days ago. So this has really been right to the wire. Hopefully this will be a great kickoff to a great fiesta this year. A little bit about the park. The mayor covered all the future things that are going to happen. He talked about its current usage. If you've ever been out here on 4th of July, First Family rents this whole wing of the museum, utilizes all that grass, and now we've got more area for those kind of activities. On the Balloon Fiesta Park, they hold an all-day event, concerts, and then all culminating with a fireworks show at night. So get your family, bring your blankets, you can get tickets, come on out, use this facility. This venue out here can be used for weddings, anniversaries, graduations, all kinds of public functions. Our commitment to this project when the mayor came to us, or we got together a couple years ago to try to make this happen, was to bring more park venues to the public. Attached to this facility where you can have catering, you've got parking, restrooms, all these kind of things. This can be a great venue for this community, and that's why we're here. I just want to thank everybody for being here, supporting this, and let's have a great afternoon.
You bet. Thanks, Louis. Appreciate it. Let's go, Steve. Go if you'd like. You know, one of the really neat things about this project was we got to work with the families, and we got to work with the ballooning community. This wasn't something that got drawn up in some back drafting area at the city of Albuquerque. This was very much an interactive process with the families. Nancy, Stacy, Lewis, everybody got a chance to pitch in, along with others from the ballooning community. So I think we've really ended up with a product that satisfies everybody's desire to do what we're doing, and that's to have a tribute area. And Lewis kind of hit on it a little bit. If you would have thought when we had the groundbreaking that we could get this far this fast, there were some skeptics. But as Barbara Baca can tell you, we were this was a come on up. This was very much a priority, and I asked Barbara and her entire team, please make this happen before the Balloon Fiesta. It was a heavy lift. It was a lot of work to get done in a short period of time, but thanks to her and her guidance and her leadership and all of her team, and working with the families to make sure that we were expediting this, and of course all the contributions, here we are today. But we wouldn't be here without Barbara. So with that, this is Barbara Baca. She's my Director of Parks and Recreation.
Thank you. I will be very brief. I would first like to thank Mayor Barry. He came to us and said, let's look at Balloon Fiesta Park and let's get the highest and best use out here. We all love the 10-day of Fiesta, but we want people to come out here year-round. And so he gave us the challenge and the support. But I really want to thank the Parks and Recreation Department staff, and there were many of them. You can't do this without a team. And so first, Sandy Zuschlag, the project manager and our assistant director, put her heart and soul into this whole park, but this project. Johnny Casados, yeah. Johnny Casados is here. He's usually in the back of the crowd, but he was the guy that was cracking the whip and he got this thing done. So thanks, Johnny. And the mayor mentioned our contractors and the landscape design, Chris Green and Consensus Planning. Just a marvelous effort, a real team effort. I also wanted to thank AMAFCA for their strong partnership through the years. Parks and Recreation and AMAFCA, the city, has worked well together, and this is an example. And then lastly, I really want to thank the Abruzzo family. We worked, and Annabelle Romero helped us, and we met with the family and we facilitated how we were going to accomplish such a great thing with the private and the public partnership. It was not always that easy, and so thank you all very much for coming. come back to Balloon Fiesta on Saturday, and thank you to the AIBF for all your good partnership with the city.
And I also want to thank the AIBF. As you know, some people do and some people don't know, the Balloon Museum, it runs through our Cultural Services Department. The Balloon Park runs through our Parks and Rec Department. And these two ladies, Barbara and Betty, are working together, and they're doing a wonderful job. And what we're really trying to do is make sure that you know, this Balloon Fiesta is great. We have a group of volunteers from AIBF who for 41 years now have put on one of the premier events in the world. It's a multi-million-dollar event. Been working with these gentlemen on making sure that there's a bright future for the Balloon Fiesta over the last several months and actually over the past several years. And so we're really looking forward to that as well. So thank you to everybody that comes out and gives their time and their talent and their treasure, and I don't minimize the treasure side, of making sure that the Balloon Fiesta happens. But we also now have a venue that we can start using more year-round. I very much as a mayor want to make sure that the Balloon Fiesta Park is being heavily used spring, winter, summer, and fall. And we look forward to having the Balloon Fiesta, but then we also look forward to making sure that there's great things for the citizens of Albuquerque and visitors to our city and tourists that come in to do here at this great facility. So with that, I want to thank everybody once again. If the media has any specific questions, we'll certainly be happy to answer those at this time. But in lieu of that, I just want to thank everybody again. I wish you guys, you need to all be standing here because you're really the heroes in this equation, and we appreciate you very much. So thanks for coming today, and let's have a great fiesta.